I remember there was a crackdown of NGOs. And at that time, those NGOs were being cracked down, Mr. Speaker, because they were doing something that was not intended. Also, as we allow civic education to be funded by NGOs, we don't want civic education to be done to incite the public against government or incite the public against their own country. We are aware. And you remember in 2017, because some of us were serving in this house, some of the organizations by the NGOs, some of them were being accused, allegedly, of financing terrorism in the country. Some of them are being accused funding destabilization. Mr. Speaker, you remember even in the GNC revolution, there were allegations that George Soros Foundation, Mr. Speaker, was part and parcel that were financing the revolution in the guise of civic education and awareness. I'm happy there is a legal framework to control the type of NGOs that come to the country. We are not objecting, Mr. Speaker, and let me go on record crystal clear. We are not objecting that the NGOs should not be part and parcel of process of civic awareness. But what we are saying, we must know who they are. What is their intention? What is their purpose? What is their objects? We don't want NGOs, Mr. Speaker, that will be used to destabilize governments in Africa. And when you look at across the world, it is only the NGOs that bring civic awareness on political and civil issues that are heavily financed in Africa. And we saw the sad reality of the GNC revolution, that in as much the young people had the right intention to try and fix problems that we are facing, somebody somewhere through the NGOs hijacked the process, Mr. Speaker, until they wanted to destabilize the country. Therefore, the vetting, and I want to challenge the National Intelligence Service, our security apparatus, they must vet the NGOs that do civic awareness, and Mr. Speaker. And the only way we can fix them, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that they are cataloged, they are known what they are doing, Mr. Speaker. The final part is on the issue of false statements. I agree. Mr. Speaker, fake news must be flagged. I remember, Mr. Speaker, social media must also, and I'm happy, that all social media must have physical offices in Nairobi or in Kenya. Because when you open Facebook, Mr. Speaker, it has so misleading information. You open X or Twitter, you open TikTok, you open whichever social media, Instagram and others, you rarely and hardly see, Mr. Speaker. Even, Mr. Speaker, I had the IT minister. I'm lucky I survived. Mr. Speaker, I'm still a member of ICT with my sisters in Togola. Can you believe it is only in Kenya that when you open your social media, you will get pornography being displayed in our social media, Mr. Speaker. But when you go to countries like Saudi Arabia, countries in Middle East like Emirates, United Arab Emirates, they have proper regulation and discipline in terms of all these social media accounts. It is because we have given too much freedom that does not have discipline, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, we challenge in this issue of false statements, and I'm happy, I want to recommend Senator Okenyuri, this offense of false statement and issue of calling people and telling them lies, the way some NGOs are doing in this country. I want to propose that it should be 5 million for anybody who spreads false statement. Because, Mr. Speaker, imagine if an NGO does civic awareness in Kablong and they tell them to overthrow, for example, hypothetically overthrow the government. Is it not expensive, the side effect, than the punishment? So I want to agree that all NGOs and anybody who does civic awareness on false statement, we must ensure that they are punitive of 5 million Kenyan shillings, or alternative, they should be in jail for 10 years. Because the cost of losing a country and a society, ask Somalia. Mr. Speaker, I was with some senior in this region. I was on the sidelines of the issues of DRC, M23 crisis and what have you. And I sat with the people. Some friends from Somalia were telling DRC, don't go to our route, because it is expensive to come back from where Somalia is. And it has destabilized the north of Africa, Mr. Speaker. Even in Rwanda now and DRC, we don't want to go them to that direction. And we hope on Saturday, I don't know, Senator Ogola has not given me the exact date when elections of AU will be done. I think on Saturday? Saturday immediately after Valentine, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I'm trying to get a private jet to that destination, Mr. Speaker. I want to assure, and I want to assure the naysayers, Mr. Speaker, that Raila Amolo Odinga will be elected the chairperson of African Union Community. And I want to ask Baba Raila Odinga, his first assignment must bring stability in DRC crisis we must resolve. We want an Africa that is peaceful, Mr. Speaker. We want, as Raila takes over as AUC chairman, to spearhead the issue of resolving crisis in DRC, Mr. Speaker, so that as a continent, we become more stable. And Mr. Speaker, finally, as I conclude, I don't know what is wrong with some Kenyans. There are many people who are praying for Raila to fail. You know, we are no longer patriotic, Mr. Speaker. Go to Tanzania. You saw even when Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan and my brother, my very close friend, Ambassador Balozi Njimbi, who is the presumptive deputy president of Tanzania, Mr. Speaker, and you should know that he is my close friend, the incoming deputy president of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan. Those people are very patriotic, Mr. Speaker. You remember when they were doing their national delegates of CCM in Dodoma, all musicians from Diamond, Shusho, Sijui Zuju, and the rest showed up to show support because of patriotism of their country. But when you come to Kenya, some people are praying, and I'm told others have gone to the mountains. Others are consulting witch doctors in Indian Ocean for Raila to fail. Tunasema washindwe katika jina la Yesu. Baba must strive, Mr. Speaker. With those very many remarks, I congratulate Senator Okenyori and wish him well. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, as you're closing, you went overboard in the language use, contrary to the standing orders. Place yourself in order next time.